All right. Now, look at this question. If x is less than 0 and 1 over x minus 1 minus 1 over x plus 1 is equal to 2, what is the value of x? Look at this, an information given to us in this question. If x is less than 0. So, remember what I told you about an expression and an equation. In rational equation or algebraic fractions, we call this kind of question, this is algebraic fraction, rational expressions. It's an expression when you have simplified, they will just give you 1 over x minus 1 minus 1 over x plus 1. They say simplify. This is an expression. It's just like, it's not an equation. It is only an equation when you have equal to something. When you have equal to something, it now becomes a rational equation. But if it doesn't have equal to, it's simply a rational expression. So in what or in whichever way, when you see this kind of question, the first approach is to change any fraction. If you have multiple fractions in that expression, you have to convert them to a single fraction. That's the first approach. You work with the fractions and make sure that you have a single fraction. Once you have a single fraction, you can now cross multiply. Like in this case, that is an equation. You can cross multiply and you start solving for x and whatever. But if it is just simplify, when you do your convert to a single fraction, all you need to do just to keep simplifying, keep reducing it until it gets to a point where you cannot reduce it further. You can now stop there, and that becomes your answer. So here, if 1 over x minus 1 minus 1 over x plus 1 is equal to 2, so the first thing we do is to find the LCM of the denominator. What's the LCM of the denominator? The LCM of the denominator here is x minus 1 into x plus 1. So x minus 1 into x plus 1 will give us, x minus 1 into x plus 1 divided by x minus 1 is going to give us x plus 1. So here is going to be 1 times x plus 1. Then minus, you pay attention to this minus. If this place happens to be plus, there won't be any problem. You will just solve that. As long as here is minus, you must be very careful. So you do x minus 1 into x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. You're going to have x minus 1 here. So, and this is going to be equal to 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. 2 over 1. So from here, the next thing is for us to now open the brackets. Pay attention to what I'm going to do here. See, open this bracket. 1 times x will give us x. 1 times 1 will give us plus 1. Here now minus 1, because this is minus 1 times x is going to give us minus x. The minus 1 times 2, minus 1 times minus 1 is going to give us plus 1. This is divided by, here now we have x squared. Here is x squared. Here is x squared minus 1. Difference of 2 squared. Difference of 2 squares. That's what happens there in the denominator. X squared minus 1. Remember that minus 1, this is 1 squared. This is 1 squared. So 1 squared is still 1. So here is now going to be equal to 2 over 1. So what do we do next? X, we go with minus x. We have 2. So we have 2. Here will be 2 divided by x squared minus 1 is equal to 2 divided by 1. So what do we do again? We cross multiply. When we cross multiply, we are going to have 2 into x squared minus 1 is going to give us 2. 2 into s squared, 2 into this will give us 2 into s squared minus 1 is going to give us, here is 2. So here we have 2 s squared minus 2 is going to give us 2. So here we have 2 s squared is equal to 2 plus 2, which is equal to 4. So here we have x squared is equal to 4 divided by 2, which is equal to 2. So all of you get to this point, which I am sure. So the only thing that makes your answer like flourish, you said something that is very correct after you have failed it. But remember, during exam, immediately you solve 2, you shade the 2 and you move on. You won't even have time because you started thinking outside the box, because I have complained, I have said some things that make you to think backwards. So at this point, what we need to do is to remember that x squared or x squared is equal to 2. So we need to take the square root of both sides. Anytime you're taking the square root of both sides, note that you are writing plus or minus square root 2. So here now x is equal to plus or minus root 2. Simple. Plus or minus root 2. Since they say that the value of x is less than 0, our answer, therefore, since x is less than 0, therefore x is going to be equal to minus root 2. Minus root 2, and this is going to be equal to, minus root 2 is going to be equal to 1.414 minus 1.414, and that's the answer to that question.